My cheapest guitar got me 1 million views on YouTube, technically 1.5 million views and counting as a recording of this video, which is awesome. But when I posted it, I quickly realized that I might have made a grave mistake. And it's a mistake that I will caution you not to make if you are a creator of any sort. When you put something on the internet, make sure you know what you want to say in it, why you're posting it, and make sure you comb your hair also, just because you never know how many people are going to see it. In this case, I didn't do any of those things. And that is how I have gotten here. Now, spoiler alert, I will tell you the video is still up. But it's not all bad, right? Millions of views means a lot of money. So, of course, I have to weigh that as well and say, well, is it worth it to potentially risk that relationship? Yeah, maybe because I make so much money off of the video. Well, I'm going to tell you exactly how much money I've made off of this video in just a second. But first, I think we should back up and actually watch the clip in question. So there you have it. That's the clip. It is a cheap way to get views. I will admit that. It is a perfect loop. Now, we've all been caught by these loops on social media before, on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts, you name it. We've ended up watching something more times maybe than we intended to, either because we didn't realize it was a loop or maybe just because we needed to watch it. Now, in this case, the comments that I was getting that were concerning had nothing to do with the fact that your average person viewing this clip watched it 3 or 4 times. I did not intend to trick anybody. In fact, I thought it was just a good way to compare two things, which arguably did not need to be compared, but we'll get to that in a moment. So the comments were not negative in that regard. The comments were negative towards the guitar I love, which, nothing against the Squier, but it's not my favorite guitar to play. As you might imagine, the fit, finish, construction, and playability of the PRS is just unmatched when it is compared really to anything, but especially a $150 Squier. So that, though, is what the comments were centered on, and I'm going to read you a few of those now. PRS has always been mad overrated. They make guitars for dentists and lawyers. I'm neither one of those things, but I still love PRS. Those headstocks are so frickin' ugly. The PRS is a better guitar, but definitely overpriced by about $1,500. Fender created the Strat, and PRS just made a copy of the Strat. That's about as musical as my chainsaw. Expensive electric guitars are for the player, not for the listener. I know a song that gets on everybody's nerves. Is it this one? It is from a song I wrote. What's the point? It's like driving 2 different cars for 1.2 seconds each and saying that they drive the same. I could stay and roast in this comment section for hours, but if I hear that corny riff one more time, I'm a puke. Well, at least he's not insulting one of the guitars. By running it through modern computer software, you could plug a potato in and it'd sound exactly like that too. You can make a potato sound good. It's all about the other equipment it's plugged into. There's so much potato talk in this comment section. You look like a mix between Seth MacFarlane and Michael Jackson. Haven't gotten that before, but again, thanks for not ripping on the guitars. So I have to admit, I'm totally embarrassed to say that I did not think about this going in, which now is mind-blowing because, like, well, what wouldn't you expect people to think? You're comparing two things. You're saying one is way more expensive than the other, and essentially they sound very similar, if not exactly the same. I've even been accused of using the same audio on both of them and overdubbing it. Well, I can tell you it wasn't. The fact is that they were both plugged into an amp sim plugin. I just played that riff on both of them, and that's what came out. Now, there's a million different arguments that can be made as to, whether or not they really do sound different, maybe less distortion. Some people claim they can hear a difference in that video. Now, personally, I can't really hear a difference, but I didn't think beyond that. I was just like, I need a piece of content, I'm going to do this, and then I ended up with a comparison that left the door open for people to criticize the guitar I love and a company that I love, which was not my intent, but that's what happened. Now, like I said, ultimately I've decided to leave this video up because I have a good working relationship with PRS. I have no idea if they've seen this video. I'm certainly not going to bring it up. But I do shudder to think and have like secondhand embarrassment for my past self thinking about somebody at that company watching this video and just totally rolling their eyes, because quite frankly, the premise is pretty weak on the video. But that should be a lesson for all of us. The premise or quality of the video does not determine how many views it gets. So that leads me to the part about how much money I've made on this, because that's the redeeming part of the whole story, right? I've made so much money on this 1.5 million view YouTube short that is still growing as we speak, that it doesn't matter whether it makes somebody upset. It doesn't matter what the people say in the comments section. It doesn't matter, because I am making so much money. Well, I'm going to tell you, this particular YouTube short was at a little bit of a disadvantage when I posted it. I posted it originally in October of 2022. At the time, you couldn't get paid on YouTube Shorts. That wasn't happening until February of 2023. So by that point, this video had gotten like 50 or 60,000 views that I didn't get paid for. But never mind, right? Because since then, it's gotten almost an additional 1.4-ish million views. So certainly those views have made me a ton of money. Well, I'm going to tell you right now exactly how much money I made. $146.50. That is how much money I've made off of this YouTube short as of recording of this video. And that will tell you that you're averaging about 10-ish cents per 1,000 views on YouTube. That is about what you can expect for YouTube shorts, between 10 and 20 cents per 1,000 views. Comparatively, this video will be monetized, and I will guarantee you it will get less views than that YouTube short that we're talking about, but I'll make between $4 and $5 per 1,000 views on this video. So you can see that the hope would be that this one would get 1.5 million views, and then I would have a much nicer camera to be talking into, because that would be a lot of money. But currently I've only made $146.50, which, if you're doing math, is not enough to buy a $150 guitar, which, by the way, now goes for more than $200, so I'm still behind. But I'm left with this guitar and asking myself, was it worth it to get 1.5 million views on YouTube using my cheapest guitar to make a point that I did not mean to make? Well, you tell me if it was worth it. I'll just tell you that the video's staying up, and I'll just apologize to whoever I need to apologize to if that ever comes up.